Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our off the cuff lastminute.com live stream. So the girls are here. Louise McDonald, who is speaking at our social media fest, she is here, and so is Deirdre from Kay's Flower School. And just so you know, Louise McDonald is actually a social media expert in all of the platforms. She also does a lot of, especially if you're starting out and you don't know how to use social media. So she's going to be speaking all about. Actually, Louise, tell us what you're going to be speaking about. Social Media
Yeah.
Fest.
So, hi everybody, and thanks so much for inviting me on, Sam. So, I'm going to be speaking about ChatGPT powered social selling. So, for
Mm.
me, the results that I always like to focus on, no matter who you are, is money in your bank account. How much money can you make from using social media? So, for me, it's all about that, getting that positioning, that strategy, getting all that right, so that when you do go to social media, that it's going to be effective. So that's what I'm going to be speaking about at Social Media Fest. It's how do you, when you show up, how do you show up with purpose, on message, and the whole thing then is, I use a lot of ChatGPT prompts to help people to like just do it on speed. So save yourself a lot of time and be more productive.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is something that a lot of people are kind of confused about. So I'm so glad you're talking about this. I know with AI, people get overwhelmed, but you're actually going to show us really easy and effective ways that ChatGPT can help you with your social media. Because the reason we're doing Social Media Fest is I see a lot of people using social media, but maybe they're on the wrong platform, for example, or maybe they're just not putting out the right message. So what you do is really important. And one perfect example of this is Deirdre, who's here with us today. And Deirdre spoke with Jeanette at the Social Media Fest last year. So Deirdre, tell us a little bit about your experience last year speaking at it at Social Media
I
Fest.
have I have to say we were blown away. Even though we were there as speakers, we learned so much. Like learned so much about video, creating video, and we do videos all the time. And people say to us, "Oh, you know what you're doing." But we learned so much, and I'm actually dying for Louise's talk because I have done courses with Louise, and I know how good she is,
Mm.
and I have done a little bit of AI with her as well. But I definitely want to know the easy way of because I do think social media people can be overwhelmed, and how do I post on everything, and how do I do this, and what can I write about, and I think AI is definitely going to help there.
And do you have to post? See, that's another thing. Some people think they have to be everywhere. But actually, if you're watching this and we have 45 people watching us at the moment, hello, everybody. Do leave a comment and I'll put your comment up. Or if you have a question, well, you have these social media experts in the room. Do ask us a question and we'll answer it as best we can before we log off about quarter to. But yeah, definitely. Like some people think they need to be on every platform. Louise, do you think every people need to be on every platform?
They need to be on the platforms that their customers are hanging out on.
Yeah.
For me, my approach is to spend the time in creating your campaigns, and that the campaigns have a sales focus, and that once you know your goal of your campaign, your messaging, your target audience, when you're really clear on that, you create your content and then repurpose your content wherever your clients are hanging out. So, if you spend time creating content, so I was speaking to Anita, she's also speaking at the Social Media Fest today. But if you spend time creating a reel, why not use it as a YouTube short as well? So, as business owners, we don't have a team full of people in the background who are going to be creating different contents for different social media channels. So to have an expectation that you're going to, that you're going to have a totally different strategy for each social media platform, to me, for small business is unrealistic. And you don't need to. I've seen it work. I've seen people get results by being clever with the content and repurposing it where necessary. But only if your clients are hanging out there. If your clients aren't there, well, then don't bother.
Yeah, and I've also started, and this is a great tip for you, actually, Deirdre. Vertical video on LinkedIn is getting a lot of traction. So you could repurpose, especially if you're in the B2B space like I am. So I might do a vertical video, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'll put that on LinkedIn, and I put it on LinkedIn, and I was adding value though. You see, there's no point in you putting up anything. You have to know what problem do you solve? What problem have your audience got that you could help them with? How can you share knowledge today? How can you add value? I think people forget that, but once you're adding value and you're giving information, and then there's a certain element of education, empowering, entertaining, which I think, dear Jeanette, you do that so well, the entertainment piece, because people buy from people. And I know that if I wanted to learn anything, actually, tell you what, Deirdre, while you're here, tell us what it is you do.
Okay, well, what we do, we are the only full-time commercial flower school in Ireland. So that train people from literally the very beginning to the end. 80% of the flower shops in Ireland have probably come through Kay's Flower School. So we are the first pathway for people who are thinking of maybe selling flowers, making money from flowers, basically. We're not really hobby courses. We do have hobby courses, but we're really focused on people that want to make a business out of flowers, be it from a retail shop, a studio, weddings, events, funerals, whatever the case may be. We have the course. So that is what we do. And in COVID, we went online, which really made us look at our online presence and our social media and all of that. And for us, social media has just blown our business out of the water, in the sense that we are now global. We are now training florists all over the world. We're literally just back from Florida, having been over in Florida training florists in Florida,
Wow.
at an event that we were invited over to.
Mhm.
And so like, my advice is, if you're not on it, get on it quickly. But as Louise said, go to the platform that you think your customers are, or the platform that you enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy TikTok, but then don't even bother trying to go there. Our customers are not really on TikTok, but I love TikTok. So I do post on TikTok and then I get into the rabbit hole of TikTok, which is dangerous. But yeah, Facebook, I suppose, for us would be our main platform. And a lot of people disregard Facebook.
They do, and it's still a lot for. We have an agency as well, and it's still I see in our agency clients, it's still the number one platform across multiple sectors for driving sales. So ignore it at your peril. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's so powerful for Facebook groups. Hello, Celine. Is this one of your followers? I think.
Celine is actually one of our past students. She's a florist down in Tipperary.
Hi, Celine. Celine, tell us the name of your shop. Get you a plug while we're here. Feel free to put it in the comments, okay? So yeah, definitely. I think, I always say that as well. Focus on, I always say focus on two platforms, especially where your customers are, and then of course you can have the other platforms for various things. But like Threads. Let's bring up, everyone would associate me with Twitter, okay? So I've started on Threads, and do you know what I'm finding it useful for? I'm just exploring it for my clients to find out what it would be like for my clients, and it's Blossom and Bloom. I love it. Blossom and Bloom is the name of her shop there. So for my clients, I need to know these things and how they work. So Threads, I have noticed I'm finding a lot of new people that I should have been connected to, or I should have been following, and some interesting people that I am making some new connections there. And then what I'm doing is I'm connecting with them then on LinkedIn. So I'm moving them from Threads to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, most of us here watching, we have 82 people tuned in. Thank you so much. Please put a comment if you want to ask a question. So most of the people watching here on LinkedIn, for example, it's B2B. The main tip I can give, because we want to give value on this live as well, is share your knowledge, show that you're the go-to expert in your niche, and become a thought leader in that space. Get speaking moments, get on stage. I know that, Deirdre and Jeanette, your talk was one of the most popular because you told the story of being a small business owner. You told us exactly what resonated so much with people in the audience. You were funny as well, and you told it the real behind the scenes stuff, like having to teach yourselves how to use these platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, and here's Anita. Anita has just popped in. Anita, tell us what you're going to be speaking about at Social Media Fest.
How to go from video to lead generation and how to use AI to do that. So that's really exciting.
So the AI piece will be featured really well now at Social Media Fest, which is brilliant. And two different totally. And I know that Anita is the YouTube queen. I keep calling her that. She doesn't like that name, but I keep calling her YouTube queen because she is. And I just think video is so important. But Louise, Louise also, just so you know, Louise has spoken at so many events. Like, these are experienced speakers who give value and know the audience, and they're going to make sure that you leave with tips that you can implement straight away. Now, Anita even gave a little spot prize last year. I don't know if you're doing anything like that this year.
Yeah, I'm planning a few little things.
Okay. Yay. So Louise, so you're speaking in the morning and you're traveling all the way from Sligo?
Yeah, I must figure out that route now. So
God
yeah.
love you.
Well,
Nice.
people, like, and then Anita's flying in from the UK. We have speakers coming from Belfast, from Galway, from Cork. So, if you haven't booked your ticket, please, ladies, tell people why they should book a ticket. I'll start with you, Louise.
Oh, look, I think there's nothing like an in-person event. I actually cannot wait to get to this event. I'm absolutely so honored to be speaking, but I actually really want to hear the rest of the speakers as well.
Me too.
And it's going to be such an opportunity to network and get to meet people that I haven't seen in person. Some people never, I just know them through social media. So it's a wonderful opportunity. And, if you can go in person, if you get the virtual ticket, if not, you're going to learn so much from it. It's definitely well worth it.
Carmel said it's a bit of but Women's Inspire reunion, still an amazing event. Yes, I know, Carmel, but you know what? You can join virtually. So yes, you can get virtual tickets if you can't join us in person. And we will be engaging with the virtual attendees, and there will be a spot prize for the virtual attendees. So you still get a chance to win something. Deirdre, why should people go to Social Media Fest?
Because you never know enough. You never know enough. Like, social media is constantly changing. People say to us, "Oh, you are so good on social media." Like last year, Anita blew us away with her YouTube, and we've been trying to work on our YouTube since. Look at every chance you get to learn something. I just think you have to grasp it, and to have it all in one place is even better. We were exhausted coming home after the event the last time. Our brains were absolutely buzzing with ideas and buzzing with things. Our notebook was packed with notes, and I still actually go back to that notebook and say, oh gosh, yeah, remember, because even though we're told time and time again, you should do this and you should post this, we all forget. We're all human, and we're all small businesses that have 100 million things going on. So it's a nice day out as well.
Absolutely. I love the fact that the networking is really powerful, but also Alison Arngrim from Little House on the Prairie is coming, and she's going to be, and the fabulous pharmacist Laura Dowling, and then we have Wayne Denner coming from Belfast, and we have Louise Brogren who's going to be talking about LinkedIn, and she's the top LinkedIn expert. So there's so many people there that you will learn from. And even if you're joining us virtually, we'll have the schedule up so that you'll be able to see, okay, well, maybe I don't need to see that part, but maybe I'll join in the afternoon or whatever. Because we do understand when you're a busy business owner, you could be running the shop yourself. You can join us virtually if you're in a shop, or maybe you could be minding an elderly relative or a young child. So we do get that. That's why we have the virtual option. And Anita, why should people come? I mean, that was your first time in Wexford, wasn't it? Or was it? Was that your first time in Wexford last year?
Yeah, that was the first time in Wexford. I think people should come because there's such a broad variety of disciplines coming along. So you're going to hear from a variety of different people who are all running their businesses or managing businesses for other people, who have got different takes on how social media can help you with your business. And I think that's invaluable, because sometimes we tend to go to just our own industry sort of conferences and we only hear from one angle. Whereas if you're going to something that's a little bit more broad like this one, you're basically hearing different ideas and across all the different platforms. So of course I'm in love with YouTube, but there's lots of other different things and different platforms that video can be used on that we're going to hear about as well, which is, it's a game changer. And then of course all the different tech innovations that we're going to be talking about. So I know Louise is talking about AI, I'm talking about AI, and I'm sure there's other people that will mention it. And it might make some people aware that they might not know that they're actually using it because it's incorporated in some of the software they're using, and suddenly like, well, I'm actually using it. So should be a really, really good.
And on that question of tech, like, you know, Deirdre, you're not a tech expert, are you? But yet you're able to do this stuff. So tell everyone a little bit about the story about how you started during the pandemic in particular, where one of you was using the camera, and, you know, tell us a little bit about how
like when we started, we hadn't, you know, we'd no idea, and it was the pandemic, so there was nobody to help us. So I just said to Jeanette, stand at the top of the class and imagine it's class full of people. And then I got the camera. I had invested in a good camera the year before that I hadn't really used. I'm still learning to use. But the funniest part was we recorded the first course and we were like, oh my God, this is really good. Put it out there. It was great. And when we recorded the second course, I then realized I didn't have to keep stopping and zooming in on the camera, that the program on the laptop actually done that for me. You know, it was the silliest things that we learned as we went along. We've only just finished re-recording module 1 because being our first program when we recorded it, we talked about the pandemic and we talked about our nails being in bits and our roots showing and all of that in that module 1 program. So January now will be the first of the new module 1. The rest of them are fine because we were coming out of the pandemic when we recorded them, but the module 1 was probably the most dated one, if you call it. So yeah, like, look, you did what you had to do. You had to learn what you had to learn to survive. We needed to pay our bills.
Yeah, that's it. So folks, if you haven't got your ticket for Social Media Fest, it's socialmediafest.ie. It's the 20th of November in the Talbot Hotel in Wexford. A lot of us are staying the night before, and usually that's when the best crack and the best networking happens. So definitely, if you can come down the night before, do treat yourself. There's a special rate for people attending Social Media Fest. And and we'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, Virgin Media Business, Backing Business Community, and Big Red Cloud and Douglas Law, who've come on board as sponsors. And there's lots of other people if you want to go to the website and check it out. We also have Fiona Harold, who's going to be speaking about PR, how to get PR for your business. And Danielle Serpico is going to be speaking all about mindset. And, you know, there's a little bit of a mixture there. So we'll definitely appeal to everybody who has a small business and wants to have a social media strategy for 2025. Any final words, ladies, before we go?
Looking forward to seeing you all there, guys.
Can't wait.
Yeah, book your tickets.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Carmel. And thanks, Sue.